Hey there, folks. Welcome to House Shows Direct. My name is BJ Kinney. Today's interview is with Matthew Wilburn Skinner, based right here in Fort Collins, Colorado. Matt performs primarily as a solo artist with a busker-style one-man band kit, but he also plays in a band with Adam and Austin Morford, known as By the Painter, formerly known as Tallgrass. Raised by wolves, taught by squirrels, friend of the owl, Matthew Wilburn Skinner sings songs of happiness and sorrow. As one-third of the band By the Painter, he did his part to expand the possibilities of the banjo beyond a bluegrass instrument. His Delta Blues jazz fingerstyle on the acoustic guitar is also crazy unique, with flourishes of virtuosity in between vocals that will break your heart before lovingly putting it back together again. Starting out in Iowa City more than 16 years ago, he honed his craft as a player and a sound engineer before moving to Fort Collins, Colorado in 2013. You can go to MatthewWilburnskinner.com to learn more about him and find his music on all the platforms, and also find his music videos on the Matthew Wilburn Skinner YouTube channel. You can check out his latest album titled As One Does, which he created to give the listener the experience of what it's like to hear him live. Also find him on House Shows Direct and book him for a house show. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, Music City Hot Chicken, a locally family-owned business serving award-winning hot chicken and cold beer. Established in 2016, they now have 2 locations in Fort Collins, Colorado, and 1 location in Denver. Shout out to Jordan and Sam. Thank you for all you do to lift up and support our music community. Ladies and gentlemen, here's my conversation with the one and only Matthew Wilburn Skinner. Yep. So, Mr. Matthew Wilburn Skinner.
Well, hey, buddy.
Thanks for joining me in the barn here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, dude. So, I want to make sure I ask you some interesting questions.
I probably won't have interesting answers.
First one I want to start with is, so do you believe in angels?
I believe in the worldly angels. That's for sure. I do. No, I will gladly talk about that. There are angels in each one of our hearts. So sometimes you're lucky enough to pull one out.
That's meant to be a joke.
But yeah. Well, have you met my wife? She is a worldly angel. Yes. No, we both know worldly angels.
No, but seriously, tell us a little bit about your music and your journey through all that. The first time I met you, was at Everyday Joe's coffee shop in Fort Collins, Colorado. Here, it was a fundraiser for, I think they were like digging wells in Africa or something.
You've got I think actually that's right. I wouldn't remember that, but that is what it was. Yeah,
and it was Rich and Friends was headlining, and Tallgrass was opening.
Yes,
and I remember sitting there when you guys started playing and being like, who in the fuck are these guys? Just like mind blown. And then we hung out and chatted afterwards, and you're like, we just moved here from Iowa.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm from Minnesota. So we had the whole Midwest connection.
Yep. No, that was one of our first gigs in town. I don't even remember how anybody knew we were in town to book it, but yeah, somehow it ended up. And then, you were our first fan in Fort Collins, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you showed up to the second floor gig at that steakhouse that doesn't exist anymore. That I believe is now...
It was the main line.
It was the main line. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's been like 10 other things.
Yeah, and I think you were the only people that showed up to watch us that night. And I'm assuming that had to have been Ben. That's BJ's youngest kid. In the stroller.
He's 11 and a half, and he was a baby.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like 6 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. But you were playing like long before that.
Yeah, so it's a 3-piece band, for those that don't know. We were called Tallgrass for about, 15 years or so, and then we've recently changed the name to By the Painter because we're not a bluegrass band. Yeah. Even though it's understandable why people think we are, because I play the banjo, but the other 2 guys are just the most kicking rhythm section you'll ever hear, and we don't do bluegrass music. We do more like soul Americana type stuff.
Morford Brothers.
Yeah, Morford Brothers. Yes.
Brothers Morford.
Wow. Yeah. Yep. 2 of my best friends in the world. We played together in several other bands back in Iowa before we started Tallgrass. And so we'd known each other musically for a long time. Both those bands kind of, ended for different reasons. And So it started off as a 2-piece, and it was just me and Adam, and I was playing acoustic guitar, going through a bass amp to try and get some low notes. And we played our first gig at a place called The Mill in Iowa City. And his little brother Austin showed up to the show, and we knew Austin was Austin's an incredible musician, and we had plans on getting him in anyway, but it's like, oh, let's make it his idea.
Yeah.
So we invited him to the gig, and afterwards, it's like, it's like you guys are pretty good, but it'd probably sound better with one more person. It's like, you're in, bro, and yeah, and in the beginning, neither me or Austin knew how to play bass, so we, had a bass, and we were kind of trading off. I'll play bass on this song, you play bass on that song. Otherwise, we're playing guitar, or occasionally banjo. Banjo's more recently, more songs writing in banjo, but it used to be mostly guitar. And but Austin was always a better guitar player than me, but very quickly he became a much better bass player than me too. So then he just he got stuck playing the bass in the band basically.
You need to limit him to 4 strings.
Yeah, well, actually, so he's got a Charlie Hunter bass now, which is a 6-string bass with like butterflied frets and everything. And so that's what he played at the gig here a couple years ago.
Oh, that's right.
And then, so I don't think we'll ever go back to the 4-string for him, because it's so nice having him actually have those extra 2 strings for,
Also when you're playing banjo.
Yeah. And he can fill so much space.
Yeah. Cool. And but you're playing mostly solo now. Matthew Wilburn Skinner.
Yes, yeah.
And then, trying to sucker those guys into a gig when you can.
Yeah, they're interested in, they run a kick-ass percussion company called Morph Beats. It's like a metal percussion company.
Shout out to Morph Beats.
Yeah, shout out. Pete Englehart style. But so they're really busy with that. So they don't, they're looking to play like either fun gigs or big gigs or that kind of thing. And so whenever those come along, we'll do them. But otherwise, I will take any solo gig in the back of any, spider-webbed corner. And I'm down for it. But that's been actually really a good thing, because it's very different playing by yourself than with a band.
Yeah.
And they're both fun in different ways.
Yep.
You kind of get more of an opportunity to show off lyrics and that kind of thing when you're by yourself. It's just easier to hear.
Yep.
And you can slow things down a little bit more sometimes, depending on the crowd. If you're trying to play to a bar crowd, you better keep it interesting, or else you're going to lose them. But
I love your like one-man band setup that's kind of evolved. You got the suitcase kick drum, the mild tambourine.
Yes.
From my old one-man band.
Exactly.
And then you switch between guitar, banjo, and also do some pretty amazing covers. What was you did a Paul Simon cover?
Oh yeah, Call Me Out.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, Gemma made me do that, because she came to my Magic Rat gig, and then when I was playing the other one, she's like, "Oh, you got to play this." It's like, all right, I can do that. Yeah.
You nail some covers, man.
I've been trying to learn the piano lately. Well, lately, like the last year or so, and I've just started posting cover songs and I don't think anybody cares. Because it's like, it's like I'm human. It's like you post something online that you take a while setting up video and lighting and all that crap and sound and getting it right. It takes a while. Yeah. So it's like, it's like, oh, I want people to watch these things that I'm making. And it's like, the cover songs on the piano versus the original songs that I'll post. It's like nobody gives a crap about
But you're putting those on Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
Wait, you're Murgatroyd Jones.
That's right.
As you, but are you Matthew Wilburn Skinner on Facebook?
Murgatroyd's my personal page. So hello, if you wanna friend me on Facebook, that's what you gotta do. I wanted to have some kind of separation between if people were just searching for my music or trying to find me as a friend, Yeah. But honestly, all I do is just, I don't post that much on social media unless it is something music related. So
that kind of sucks.
I try and stay away from it. I feel like
not your music,
that way.
Media.
Yeah. All of it. All of it.
You're kind of sneaky, dude. I remember when you only had like a pager and then maybe a flip phone. I'd be like, how do you get a hold of Matt? You have to blow like a Viking horn?
Yes, or
summon you?
Yeah, the Batman silhouette up in the air.
Yeah.
It's if you had to know my wife's telephone number basically to get a hold of me until a couple years ago. I got my first smartphone I think it was 2023 instead of 2024, but my wife kind of got sick of it, so she made me get one, and it's actually awesome. Yeah. I do like having it, but before I had the excuse like, oh, I can't text anybody because I'm on this flip phone with T9 texting or whatever the heck it's called. It takes me 10 hours to type out a paragraph. So just, yep.
Yeah. Let's see. So one thing I wanted to ask you about. Okay, so you've done some tiny home living.
Yes, and you helped build it.
Well, yeah, it was at the old Banjo shop.
Yep.
Clover Lake. Shout out to Clover Lake.
Clover Lake, I built there for a long time, and I owe you guys a lot for introducing me to the other side of my brain.
Yeah.
I did not think existed as far as being able to build things with my hands. And
You got to fly.
I know.
Should have brought the fly swatter, dude.
Oh, do you guys got one of those electric ones?
No.
Okay.
That'd be funny.
Those look like fun, but I feel bad.
Yeah, I know. Electrocuting flies.
Fly bacon.
I mean, being an electrician, I've been shocked plenty of times. I can only imagine.
Yep.
Being shocked by a giant tennis racket that's electrified.
Yes. Were you the kind of electrician who's like, is this, did someone turn this off? Let me just check. I'm just going to touch it. Or would you go and actually...
I would typically a lot of times I just touch the wires together.
Okay.
Instead of walking 50 feet to turn the breaker on, I just go make a big arc and pop and then just blow the breaker.
Okay. And it's like, well, now it's off.
Yep.
I did it.
Yeah. So the tiny home living, you lived, it was like a shed size.
Yeah.
I think both you and Renee lived in there for what, a good...
It was a couple years.
2 years?
Yeah, it was 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we built it at the Banjo shop with your help, with Stace's help, your neighbor, and a lot of people's help. Rooster helped. Your dad was a huge help.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in and kicked butt on the roof and stuff there for a couple days.
We knocked that thing out quick.
Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah. It took a while to build, but we weren't actually working on it that much.
Yeah.
Because Renee was in in nursing school down in Dallas.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, we got some time. And then it's like, oh, Renee's actually coming back in like a couple months. It's like, we actually better build this thing up quick.
Yeah, dude.
And then it was kind of perfect because then we got it done except for basically like finishing the inside. But then me and her got to do all that, which was, put in the flooring, put in the side, put in the ceiling. And it was all just wood that we bought.
Well, I love how you took your time and kind of made every like little, cool accent piece.
Yeah.
And then we did like the willow arch thing.
Willie Martin put so sick over the head. Yeah.
I love that kind of building. Just like rustic building, working with sticks and branches and old barn wood and scraps of copper. And, I honestly that's how I want to retire. Just building rustic furniture.
You're my favorite interior designer. It's not even a question, dude. Like, yeah, you can see all this background. If y'all could see the rest of this is my favorite room in town. And if I could, I would come here and write all sorts of weird books and stuff.
Come on by.
Yeah. All right. Don't open the door to a vampire, man, because I'll never leave.
Yeah, I miss it was, yeah. So I before we moved to Fort Collins, we spent a year on the road gypsying. Me, my wife, and my two oldest boys that are now 16 and 19 when they were little. And I loved having everything I owned consolidated into a 28-foot RV. It was like I had my guitar.
Yep.
I had my computer. I had my longboard. And some stuff to cook food with, and it was so simple. Now I've got a 1 acre property with shipping containers full of, glass insulator knobs and rusted barnwood. Yeah. It's all stuff I use, but it's like, it's a lot of stuff, and it kind of, too much stuff can be a little much, so that's simple living.
Yeah. So, I think as long as you have some good hobbies in life, then you can get by without needing too much else. Like you're saying, you got a guitar, you got a longboard. You're gonna be pretty happy doing stuff that you like. And luckily for me, like as a musician, you for the most part you don't really make that much money. So it's like you better be interested in playing your instrument a lot because it takes up your time. It's nice to get better at things, in life in general. But so and I'll admit I do not practice as much as I used to, but I don't think I could. It just kind of tore my body apart. Yeah. When I first started playing, it was 8 to 10 hours a day, every single day for years.
Well, you have like hundreds of songs. I remember when you stored some totes, some bins here in the barn.
Yep.
And you're like, go ahead and dig through those if you need any song ideas.
Well, I think I told you if I ever died, if I got in a car accident or something, it's like, dude, feel free to pull these out. And like, I've got lyrics.
Dude, I started looking through there and pulling those out, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, lots of, And I don't know if there were chords written on a lot of those because that was at the point where it's like, oh, I'll never forget any of these. Yeah, so yeah, mostly lyrics, and then at this point, like most of the melodies and the chords on most of those songs are gone, but it doesn't mean you couldn't recreate them, do something different.
Yeah. So what's your process? I'm just fucking with you.
I mean, I'm glad to tell it. It's a pretty, it's
If you want to, that's the number one question I'm not going to ask doing these.
we're gonna talk about
Grail. What is
the process for a while.
What's your process?
I will say I'll make it quick, but one thing that I like to do is I like a blank sheet of paper, and it's a little intimidating, but just a blank sheet of paper, no lines. And if I have, usually I'll sit around and I'll dink around on an instrument or whatever. I'll find a melody, or I'll find some kind of chord progression I like, and then I start humming, and you get, it's like, oh, okay, now within that, like within that, if you just hum and record it, you might even hear words start to come out of just the noises your mouth is making, And if you can get a couple things like that, that's good. And then one trick that I always like, if here's my piece of paper, you have your normal lyrics just coming down from the top, but I have my garbage pile, and it's not really garbage, but it's my tryout pile. So I do that in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. And I just start every lyric that I come up with, I just start writing them down there. And sometimes they're good enough to make it up into this line. Yeah. And sometimes they're not, and I've probably told you this before, but it's like, there's a million ways to say anything. Yeah. So it's very unlikely that the very first idea you have to get a point across is going to be the best way to say it. Yeah. But you should write that down, and you might be able to improve upon it. Yep. Or, every once in a while, it's just right. And, for me, it's not like, there's not like a thing where it's like, oh, I know this is right. You just know. There's a certain feeling that I have where it's like, this line is exactly what I wanted to say. Now I can move on to the next one. But I'm always looking for that feeling before I move on to the next line. Yeah. So rarely do I have to, if I'm finished with the song, I rarely change anything on it once it's actually done. I'm doing all of my editing within the writing as opposed to later.
Do you ever get stuck getting distracted by what you think people want to hear, and then you lose track of what you're actually trying to?
I've never had that problem, and you probably know that talking to me. Like, I don't.
You don't actually care what people think.
I at least I can pretend like I don't. I definitely did in high school, but I think I learned better. And it's like I certainly hope that people enjoy or get out of whatever I do, but if they don't, that's totally fine. If it means something to me, then that's good enough. Yeah. But looking at the projection of my the elevation of my music career, which has not really happened. Yeah. Maybe I should think more about that, but I'm
probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
What do you do when you get stuck? And you're just stuck, hook up some nipple electrodes? Or...
That helps. Yeah. Level 10, even 11, turn them up to 11. Yeah. And then it's like that smoking smell. Yeah. It really, gets the brain moving. Yeah.
But do you get stuck and you're like, let's put it down?
There'll be I get stuck more to actually start. Once I'm in the middle of something, I bang my head against the wall really freaking hard. And it used to take me, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the dramatic brain injuries of writing stuff. Yeah. So, songs used to take me, I would work 6 months sometimes on a song back in my 20s. Yeah. And it was like, no, this is an important thing to me. I want to get every single one of these things right, and I was an English major. So it's like all the words were important, Yep. And, but now when I do have an idea for a song, which they do come less and less these days, the older I get, unfortunately. But I usually spend about 3 days. If I can get a song done in about 3 days, I'm happy with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you end up writing 10 songs at once, or you usually stick to one?
Usually it's one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very rarely I'll be working on 2 at a time. But usually it's one. I get super focused. I get very OCD about whatever it is I'm doing, and I try and get it done.
Yeah, I do that. I can do that with certain things, but books, if I'm reading a book and I find another good book, I'm like a dog with a squirrel.
You're one of those.
Yeah, and I'm in the middle of 10 books.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom's like that. She's usually reading 3 or 4 books at once, but I'm the same thing with a book. It's I love stories. Narratives are one of my favorite. I was actually just thinking about this.
Did you write a book?
I've written several books, yeah. None of them published, but I went to the University of Iowa to get an English major, basically focusing on creative writing. Took every creative writing class I could find there.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be the best writing school in the nation. And no offense, University of Iowa, but I fucking hated it. You basically, if you're an undergrad, you get stuck with a bunch of TAs, teachers' assistants as your teachers, and they all go to the writer's workshop, which is the hoity-toity graduate program at the University of Iowa, which is the best writing school in the nation. That's where it comes from. But what I caught when I was there, it's like whoever was in charge at that time, his thing was space and place. And so all stories and characters and everything come from the space and the place, that you're taught. And every single one of these TAs had a different idea of what that meant, but they were all preaching space and place. But they're preaching the same thing.
It's like the space you're in or the space you're in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be, however you want to take it, know. And then they told me, it's like, okay, well, it's like, you guys are, you're a little fart sniffy for me maybe, but I would still like to be at this graduate program, and then they tell you, it's like, oh, well, actually no one who's ever gone, at least this was the case when I went there in the early 2000s, no one who's ever gone to the undergraduate program at Iowa has ever been invited to be in the graduate program.
Yeah.
Which I thought was total garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I got turned off of writing. Yeah. It's super elitist. Yeah. And so I got turned off of writing for several years after I graduated, but I just took everything I learned and I put it towards songwriting, which was fine.
Yeah.
But eventually I did start then writing I'd written one book before I went to college, and it's not very good. Yeah. And then several years after I graduated, it's like, all right, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna let them stop my love for this, for this medium. So I started writing a book, and I spent probably 2.5-3 years on it.
Okay.
And I was so at this point in my life, I was a janitor at a restaurant. I was doing like sound stuff at a very small little rock club. I was doing anything. The janitorial stuff was my main gig. It was the most steady. But I was playing in a couple different bands, trying to keep moving. And
you were like Goodwill Hunting, basically.
No, Goodwill Hunting without the high IQ. Yeah,
fighting a bunch of people.
Yeah, exactly. No, I will do. Yeah, I'll do.
He was a janitor.
Rock a bunch of shit. Yeah, he was. But he was much better at math than I ever was. So I'd go to work in the morning at like 8 o'clock. I'd come home, I would work on music or I'd work on the book. And when I was really obsessed with writing this first book, I would do that for 8 to 10 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Go to bed at 4 a.m.
Yep.
Wake up at 8 a.m, rinse and repeat. And I did that for like 3 years and really was cutting the candle in half, burning both of those ends at both ends, and really wore myself out. Ended up writing like a 700-page ridiculous epic story that I could not sell to any agent or could not get any agent interested in.
I'm imagining like a comedy version of Dune.
It's actually,
or something.
It's kind of, It's like modern fantasy stuff. Like the main hook on it was kind of a Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt type Hollywood power couple named Luke and Jane got together and started they started adopting all these kids from third world countries that were like musical savants.
Yep.
And then they built them up in this thing called the family band, basically. And then so they had like a charity that the family band would go and play. Right. The family band was amazing, but they were also just laundering all this money. And but there's also like 15 or 20 other stories. It's like a Seinfeld episode, and it all kind of comes together at the end. And it's too much to explain, but I couldn't get any agents to bite on it. And, they all said the same thing. It's like, oh, you haven't edited any of this. And it's like, well, I have. I'll edit more. So I edited it down to about 550 pages. And every single time you send that out, they still say the same thing. You haven't edited any of this. So it's like, all right, well, fine. I'll write another book that's shorter to see if I can then get eventually somebody to bite on this on this first one, which I think is the best one I've written. So I wrote a 300-page book about a grandma who her kid figures out how to rip off some smugglers of all these illegal drugs, like any kind of drug you can think of. Mm-hmm. So she has him burn down the local pharmacy in a small town in Iowa. Okay. So all the old people then have no way to get drugs, so they have to start coming to her for pain medicine. Except that she's just selling them cocaine and roofies and all these other things. Hilarity ensues. Yeah. And that was like a total just joke comedy book. Say, all right, this is 300 pages. I might be able to get somebody to bite on this.
Yeah.
Could not get anybody to bite on that either. So I've wasted many years of my life writing things that no one will probably ever read, which is one cool thing about songs. It's like you can write a song and you can record it and you can release it the next day on a video as soon as it's done, and you'll get some people to check it out. Yeah.
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 What was it like was growing up? Was anybody in your family musical, or?
No one was really musical. My mom's a huge English nut. Like she still reads a lot. You know, she is always working on 3 or 4 different books. She's an avid reader. So I was like that when I was a kid. I was reading everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
But we had a piano because my parents wanted us to learn how to play piano, but I hated it. And I think it's because I hated my teacher. Hi, Mrs. Prouty. Hi.
I took 1 piano lesson once.
Yeah. No.
Like, my parent 1 guitar lesson.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you get kicked out or did you just stop?
I couldn't keep playing Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Okay.
And I don't know. I can't. I'm a hack at just about everything. I have to learn by failure over and over again without following a program.
This is how our lives have worked. Yes, and it's a good thing. We like failing. Failing's the best damn thing we can do in life.
Yeah, your failure rate of success.
Yeah, yeah. So I fooled him again, man. Fooled him again. I fool him every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Fake it till you make it, right?
Yep. But yeah, I was forced to do piano lessons for probably 4 years, 5 years, and I was okay at it. But I did not enjoy it at all. And eventually, it was like 7th grade or something, and my teacher asked me to sit down. It's like, to show me what you've learned this week. And I just started banging my heads on the keys. And she was like, stop it, Matthew, stop it.
Bleeding.
Yeah, well, I wasn't hitting myself that hard. But after that, she called up my parents and said that she had no interest in teaching me anymore. And I was like, well, that's great, because I've had no interest in you teaching me for a long time.
Yeah.
And they didn't make me find a new teacher. They're just like, fine, you win. You know,
yeah.
All right.
I'm always impressed by people, kids especially, that can like stick with it, whether it's like violin lessons or piano, that become like,
savants.
But then later on, I feel like, because I've actually, like sat and had a couple of drinks and shared a piano with somebody that's like that. And then I'll just play something and they're like, what key is that in? Or what, they'll ask me a question about it. I'm like, I have no idea. it's just like memory and shit.
Yes. Well, and sometimes too much learning can kill your creativity.
Yeah.
I figured that out I was working sound at a place called the Iowa City Yacht Club, which is just a small little basement rock club, basically.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of kids that they have a pretty good jazz school at the University of Iowa too. So all these kids would come in and they'd be really good players. And I don't think any of them actually knew how to like write their own stuff. They were all very good at playing other people's music, but they'd never been taught how to, like leave some of these, boxes that, composition can put you in behind and do whatever the hell you think sounds good.
Yeah. You got to be able to kind of go with what you're feeling and get out of that box.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. Well, I got to take a minute to go milk the chickens.
All right. Don't milk the roosters.
So we're going to take a quick break here.
Okay.
Hey folks, I'm here at Music City Hot Chicken in Fort Collins, Colorado, just getting some lunch. I've got the gluten-friendly green chili chicken tenders with sweet potato fries and house sauce. I asked the owners the other day what was in their house sauce, and they said that they would tell me, but then they'd have to kill me. Anyway, they've got multiple locations in Fort Collins and in Denver. This is my favorite location in Fort Collins, Midtown. Let me spin you around here and give you a quick little tour. So they've got a pretty stylish dining room here with cozy booth seating, plenty of room for friends and family. Their walls are covered with local art. They've also got a pretty kick-ass bar here. They serve cocktails, Mai Tais, margaritas. They've got an excellent selection of beers on tap. Check out those skate decks on the ceiling. Isn't that rad? Their menu is pretty great. They've got excellent mac and cheese. I love their fried catfish sandwich. And right over here, we've actually got Jordan, one of the owners. Hey, Jordan, what makes Music City Hot Chicken so special?
My brother and I started Music City in 2016 with a focus on quality food made from scratch. We work on supporting our community, especially the music community.
And there you have it, folks. Music City Hot Chicken, Nashville hot chicken at its finest.
I look like nice and super friendly, but believe me,
Yeah.
I'm intimidating to those smaller creatures, dude. I'm the biggest monster these mice have ever seen.
Yeah. So I didn't get any milk out of the chickens again.
Again.
There's a few eggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But maybe it's just cold out. I'm not sure.
Well, they started cock-a-doodle doing and stuff, and they were super excited, but they weren't milking at all.
Yeah. All right. What were we even talking about?
We got a bull.
Yeah. Let's shift it over to Bigfoot, aliens.
Okay. Yeah, which one?
Dimensional theory. And
Metaphysics.
or yeah. So you're a Gallagher.
You're a Gallagher.
I'm a Gallagher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are related, probably. It's some great uncle.
Willie T. Taylor's a Gallagher too.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one of those red beard.
One of those,
Gallaghers.
one of those Scottish, Irish, redhead Gallaghers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom, Mary Gallagher. So she had 9 siblings, Irish Catholic family.
Okay.
It is Kevin, Jimmy, Teresa, Kathleen, Jeremiah, Marky. Did I say Therese?
Teresa.
Yep. So
I'm already impressed you've got that
them.
many.
Oh my God. One of them's got Jack Gallagher. And then my mom, Mary Gallagher. Is that 9?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to call it 9. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I came from a family of 6, so there's just a ton of us.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad came from a family of 6, so yeah, a lot of crazy Irish cousins.
That's how the Catholic Gallaghers do it. Yeah, my grandma was a Gallagher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it Gallagher Scottish mixed in there, or
So yeah, I think I'm basically Scottish, Irish, and English all mixed together, which is why I have so many arguments with myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my wife is half British, half Irish, right down the middle.
Okay.
So I always make the joke, if you catching her strapping a bomb to herself.
Yeah. No, same thing with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's not okay to say. I don't know.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Your podcast is canceled before it's even begun.
Exactly. Yeah. So, gosh. Yeah. I don't know. Apocalypse. What do you do when the grid goes down?
Well, I come over here. Okay. I hope you know that's our plan. Yeah. No, this is not for everyone. This is just for Renee knows how to fly a plane, so I figure we come over here.
I got a landing strip.
Yeah, we gather up the supplies, go steal a plane from the small airport, and then go somewhere.
Yeah.
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 Although, honestly, we probably wouldn't want to go too far because this is a pretty good place to wait out the apocalypse, I feel like.
I got some neighbors we can eat.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Took them on the wood stove here.
Yeah, no, this thing's hot as heck. Like
I eat a ton of seasoning.
I can hear Stacy sizzling right now.
Oh, no, not done.
Oh,
We'll eat him.
We do want Stacy. Yeah, Stacy and Deb, they're in the group.
Yeah, we'll eat Peter. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Old Peter. Yep. Sorry, Peter. I don't know you, Peter, but I'm looking forward to you.
Yeah. Scrimdiddlyumptious.
Yep. No, we've got a lot of like spices and stuff at our house, so we'll make sure we bring those.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you about the weird instruments you've played. You made at the old banjo shop. Was it an Urdu?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you were playing with
Yeah. Rustic had us build one of those, and so I built another one for myself, and that's still sitting in my room. I think I picked it up the other day and played it, but that was the first time in like a couple years.
Yeah, it's like a 2-string instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asian 2-string instrument, and it's a lot of like bending. It's kind of like a tiny little cello, basically, with no real fretboard, and you just slide your finger up and down these 2 strings and bend them to get these really cool wow, 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 kind of noises. It's a cool freaking instrument.
Yeah, you still have that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, those are cool. Yeah. I could play some mountain dulcimer. Just open tuning,
Sick.
Some jaw harp.
Jaw harp was my first instrument. I got one in Colonial Williamsburg as a child and got pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played it for a while.
Real tooth chipper though.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, freaking hurts.
Especially if you play with those giant ones.
Yeah. Yep. Like Nick Shoulders. Yeah, he's got some of those huge.
Their shoulders. Yeah. Oh, he plays it's the mouth bow.
Okay.
We made him one actually.
Yeah,
in the shoot. Well,
The Rooster made him one. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays some pretty interesting Appalachian instruments.
He's one of my favorite cats out there right now. I love his stuff.
Yeah, he's awesome. He put up a post about, it was kind of like how the music industry is, I don't know, how it's broken, how it's changing. And
I saw that one. Yeah. Some of it I agreed with, some of it I didn't, but that's good. Yeah.
But more people need to be kind of talking about, I think of it as like a pie that's gotten smaller. That's like streaming has come out,
Yes.
and there's only so much to go around, and that's a part of the reason like I'm doing this with House Shows Direct is trying to make that pie bigger, more places for musicians to play,
Yep.
more listening rooms, more exposure, a place where they can play on a Wednesday and a Thursday and then play a bigger venue on a Friday,
Yep.
Saturday, and then maybe do a Sunday brunch show or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To increase their income and their listenership. I think more people should buy record players and collect records, because then you got something tangible you can buy instead of just getting it on Apple or Spotify or
Yep.
whatever.
There's something magical about taking that piece of wax and popping it onto a thing and hearing some little background scratches and whistles and
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's 20 minutes aside. So like you'll be sitting here hanging out, listening to some good music, and then the record stops and it's quiet and people are like, oh, it's not just like Pandora continuing
Keep
to play.
going, and you aren't putting any input into what you're letting someone else choose your music for you instead of if it's every 20 minutes you're either flipping a record or you're grabbing a new record and listening to something else, and it's your choice. It's what you want to hear instead of what they think you want to hear. And a lot of times they're right. Like I've found a lot of really cool artists just on radio stations on Spotify and stuff. But
Yeah. I don't know how else to change it. You kind of got to make that pie bigger, which could be, house shows, maybe some of the breweries and coffee shops could come up with a little bit better of a model outside of like, free beer or pastries, but I feel like a lot of the like regular venues are kind of maxed out doing what they can, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I mean, they've got to make theirs too, and like, I work at a lot of the big venues in town. I do a lot of sound work. And when you think about it, it's like they've got a pretty big, just what they're paying per hour for all the employees. Oh, that overhead? Big venue. Yeah, their overhead just for per hour employees, it's a lot. Like it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars every single hour, and they've got to try and make that back somehow.
Yeah.
And thinking about the pie thing, I think it's interesting because these days you have a lot more people than you used to making the pie. It's a huge pie because now it's like anybody can record albums pretty easily in their house or whatever, and so it's like there's a lot more music being released than there probably ever was. At least I assume there is, But then there's not as many people that are able to get the fork to be able to dig in and get the bite. So it's this huge pie, but not everybody gets a chance to eat out of it.
Yeah. And a lot of that access is gained through streaming services where the artists don't make money.
Yep.
And then they're relying on performing.
Yep.
And then all that pressure gets put on the venues to like, why can't you do more? Why do you got to take a cut of merch? Like,
yep.
But then they're paying, if, they might be paying a chef in the kitchen with 3 other people in the kitchen and 2 door guys and sound guy, which,
And a lot of times 3 to 4 to 5 people on the crew, it's not just one sound tech at a big venue. Yeah. It's a lot of people. Yeah. And like, I don't like that the venues take percentages of merch. It's like, if you're going to take a percentage of my merch, you should give me a percentage of your alcohol sales. Yeah. Because without the music, you're a music venue. Like, you're bringing people in. That's the only reason people are here. Yeah. So it's like, I think that the line of demarcation should be, it's like, we're coming in, whatever, ticket split we're going to have, whether it's 80-20 or 70-30 or whatever it is, whatever you negotiate. But it's like, you guys are keeping all of that alcohol money, which is, I know what they charge at venues for a shot of whiskey, and I know how many shots of whiskey you can get out of one thing of whiskey that you're paying $40 to $50 for, and you're getting 50 shots out of it. It's like, that's a huge, that's that'd be like 1,000%, return on your investment for that bottle of whiskey. Yep. And so it's like, I don't think that they should take any money out of the percentages of what the merch person is selling.
Yeah. And then maybe they could be a little more transparent about all that and kind of speak out a little bit, because they do get demonized.
Yeah. Well, so I know Cervantes, like when COVID hit, they said we're not going to take any more merch money. Yeah. But that's one of the only venues I've seen that does that.
Even if they got to be like, we got to charge an extra $1 a drink, so we don't have to take merch.
Yeah.
Percentage, and you know, like be a little bit more transparent about that, because I think they get demonized and they don't deserve it. A lot of them.
Yeah, well, and like a lot of shows, if it's a local show, they won't take the percentage of the merch because they're trying, you know, they're already, you know, it's like the local shows aren't going to make as much as the, you know, but like at the same time, it's like the musicians, if you're a mid-level musician and you're playing you know, a 600 seat or 500 seat venue, just to make the math easy.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say then you've got an 70-30 or 80-20 split that you're taking the 70 or the 80% of the ticket sales.
Yeah.
If the tickets are $30 each, that's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
You know, like, so yeah, because you're talking then, I mean, 500 seats at 30, that's like,
Yeah.
and I can't do the 70 to 80 math in my head or whatever, but I mean, you're doing pretty good at that point, you know, and you know, especially if you're a DJ, which is, you know, you get a lot of DJs these days, and all they have to do is walk in with one little USB thing. You know, they don't have to have a huge tour bus. They can just be flying spot to spot and renting a car and
then like bins full of stuff.
Yeah.
And loading in all kinds of gear.
Yep. And yeah, if you can get up to that level, you're going to be doing really well for yourself, but it's really hard. Like I've never been up to that level. You know, it's really hard to get to that level.
Well, there's most musicians are in the middle there where they're like trying to find a reason not to go back to their full-time day job as a roofer or something.
Yeah.
You know, but also scraping by, you know. And that's been my initiative with this house shows thing, is to, you know, it's like a musician can show up at a house show and do a quick little sound check. It's super simple. They got a great listening crowd.
Yep.
You know, they play for an hour and a half and they can make $500.
Those are my favorite kind of shows to play to.
You know.
I would rather play to 100 people sitting down and listening to the songs and interacting. Like you can tell stories at those kind of shows. You can actually talk to the crowd, get to know the crowd, as opposed to playing, you know, a 1,000-seat venue. Yeah. It's really, at least it is for me, it's hard to just sit there when there's a lot of people talking back at the bar, and like some people up front are paying attention, but not everybody is. And it's like, oh, do you really want to hear like all these stories and stuff, or you just want to hear some music?
Yeah, you just want to hear all the bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think there's a balance to be found there. I'm like, I actually, most of the shows I see are at my place where I throw house shows, and then I'll go to some other house shows, but then I'm actually pretty refreshed. Like when I go down to the Aggie or go up to the Mish or go to Washington's, I'm like, this is amazing. Just like the light production, the sound, the whole production of it. It's so cool. And, you know, I think there's a balance to be found where traditional music venues and this whole kind of house show movement that's been going on can like complement each other versus compete with each other.
Peas and carrots, baby.
You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't, I understand like radius clauses if you're playing multiple like venues that are promoting it publicly, you know, but if you're just playing in your neighbor's backyard, you shouldn't, just because you're playing 2 weeks before a show at a bigger venue, you shouldn't have to go by a different name.
Yeah, well, in most venues, if you ask them and you're like, hey, I'm playing this little private party or whatever, they aren't going to be, they'll be fine about it, you know, like, but I always do ask, you know, because I, you know, if I put my name on a contract, I'm going to try and follow the contract as much as I can, you know, or I'm going to follow it. Yeah. So it's like, you know, but I've had situations like that where I've had a radius clause and then I have like a private party opportunity that comes up. Yeah. I'll just ask them. And they, you know, they're cool about it. They don't care. You know, in the end, it's like I might be able to bring 10 or 15 more people from that show to your show that wouldn't have come otherwise.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had so many shows here where, you know, it's like, you know, when we had Woodbelly, when Chris and his band Woodbelly played years ago, I think they had an Aggie show like 3 weeks later, and there was some concern. I didn't want to step on any toes because I have so much respect for them. But actually, I think there was probably like 50 to 100 people that came here, enjoyed the show, had never heard Woodbelly, and then went to the Aggie show because of that.
Because of that, yeah.
You know what I mean? To see them in that setting. And I think it actually, you know, it's really not, you know, the same market competing with each other. It's actually two different markets, I think, which just rounds the whole thing out.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you see somebody playing in an intimate setting, close up, where it's quiet, you know, it's really cool to go see them then like, boom, up on stage where there's that degree of separation. And you're like, oh, they're like a star up there.
Yep.
You know, not just a person I'm sitting here, you know, listening to. So I you know, I really believe in balancing it all out. And that'd kind of be my message to, you know, the traditional music venues is, you know, there's a balance to be struck, and the better artists can do, the better off venues do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And especially touring artists. So like, you know, I've had a few artists come through here and play and do a few different shows at like my buddy JR's down in Louisville and here and a couple other spots around town where they actually wouldn't normally come through Fort Collins.
Yeah.
And then a couple months, like Matt Heckler, a couple months ago, he played out at the Swing Station and he's there. I've never played here before. I've been wanting to play here.
Yep.
You know, and then they discover a little bit more of like the local music scene and how cool it is. And then pretty soon they're popping through Denver, coming up I-25, coming through Fort Collins,
Yep.
up to Laramie, playing the Roughed Up Duck.
Yep. Love the duck.
You know what I mean?
Hi, John. Hi, Sean.
Yeah, Laramie's awesome. And the pie gets bigger that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you're kind of one of these special people that has not only do you have like this perfect place to put on shows,
Yeah.
but you know so many people. It's like it's crazy because like Renee and I will come to shows here and it's like, okay, well, like I'm, you know, really good friends with BJ. I've known him forever. It's like I'm assuming that I'll know, you know, like, oh, I'll know everybody at this show. And then I show up and it's like, no, there's, you know, a lot of people here and I only know 10% of them.
Yeah.
And every single one of them know you though, you know? So it's like, you're this weird, like, it's not just 2 circles with this Venn diagram. It's like 15 different social circles. Yeah. And BJ Kinney's right at the frickin' middle of all of them. And it's like, yeah, you're no threat to big venues putting on small shows because all you're doing is just like you're saying, you're expanding the listening pie and people will become interested in artists that they would have never gone to a bigger show if they saw the name, but they know like people will come to every single show here because they know it's going to be good. Like I've never been to a show here that I didn't absolutely love. And there have been plenty where I didn't know who the musician was. Just like, we're just going to go and it's going to be great.
Yeah. You discover somebody new. I mean, talking about music venues.
Yeah.
So I'm always
Let's get into some more trouble.
Yeah. I always wanted, my goal is to try to get into every green room that I can backstage. Like I went speaking of the Aggie.
Yes.
I heard they installed a bidet.
We did install a bidet and it's one of the first things that I tell people when they show up. It's a real icebreaker.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm working sound that show, it's like our green room's right downstairs. We have a bidet, help yourself. We're super classy. And they know that I'm kind of kidding, but not.
You get in there and show them how to use it?
I do not go that far. They have to figure that out on their own.
You're like, hold still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a heated seat?
I don't think that it's a heated seat.
Oh, they're gonna have to. They might.
Yeah, they should upgrade because the one. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to talk bidets for a couple minutes because I never thought that I would be the kind of person that would be pro bidet. It was kind of a weird concept to me, like having this stream come and, you know, wash you down a little bit. But my wife got one for the house. It does have a heated seat, which is right now is amazing. Yeah. But I will never go back.
Me neither, dude.
No, it's like it's a game changer. It's like one of her cousins, or I think it's one of her cousins. We were at a family reunion down in Oklahoma or Texas or something. He's like, man, if you don't have a bidet, you're just smearing the icing on the cupcake. I mean, it's like that's exactly what you're doing. It's disgusting. Yeah. It's like, if you got a bunch of shit on your arm, would you just take some stuff and wipe it off? And it's like, I'm good. Yeah. It's like, no, you probably want to get some water on that son of a bitch. And
When people go in to use the bidet here or use the bathroom,
yes,
and they come out, I'm like, try the bidet. They're like, nah. I'm like,
big mistake. Yeah. Mistake. I'm an ambassador for 2 things in life, and it's bidets and heated vests. Yeah, and I tell everybody about good boots. Good boots as well. Yep.
Yeah, I've torn through quite a few pairs of boots in my time. You know, I like good work pants, good boots.
Yep.
Good knife. You know.
Good cut a whole lot of flannels.
Yep. Costco.
Yeah, we both have the same Costco flannel we discovered. So does your kid Sam. Yep. So does Andy Starr.
Shout out to our sponsor, Costco.
Yep, Costco flannels, $15 all day. It's the best deal. It's like it's a burrito and a half. You either get a burrito and a half for $15, or you get this bitchin' flannel that will last you probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Best deal in town.
Yeah, no, Costco's not sponsoring us.
No, they're not. One day.
You guys owe me $500.
Yep. One day Costco will see the glory.
The glory
of BJ's fireside chats.
Yeah. No, I've enjoyed doing this, man. The old Yodel wood stove has really been a reliable, trusty old wood stove. I got this thing. I bartered for it. I did like a 2-hour electrical job, and I'm standing in this guy's garage when I first moved to Fort Collins.
Okay.
He's like, you open to bartering? I'm like, yeah.
And Barter's my middle name, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. The barter system is alive and well. And he's like, is there something in this garage you want? And I'm looking at, he's got some nice skis over here. You know, he's got a pretty good mountain bike over there.
Okay.
And then I saw the Yodel wood stove, and I'm like, how about that? He's like, haul it out of here. So we
Sick. Good choice.
So we stuck it in here. It's been heating the fans of the Kinney farm for 10 years now.
It's like when Han Solo won the Millennium Falcon off of Lando Calrissian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lando had bet him, you know, it's like, oh, I'll bet you any of these ships that I have or whatever. And he had all these flashy ships. And then Lando happened to notice this Millennium Falcon that was just sitting, it's YT 1300 cruiser or something like that. I used to be a much bigger Star Wars nerd than I am now, but that's just, you know, time passes and you don't read all the books you did in high school. But he chose that one, and Lando was pissed because Lando had been kind of popping it up on the side.
Yeah, he kind of kept it like dusty. So
Yes, exactly.
nobody'd pick that out.
Yep.
But
he did.
Yep.
And history was made.
My kids, I think they built a Lego Millennium Falcon. They've gotten all into the Star Wars Legos. But now we just have like, they're kind of outgrowing Legos.
I saw y'all were getting rid of some of them.
Oh yeah, and we just have like tubs and tubs of like all the Legos I could have dreamed of as a kid growing up. And but now we're making little like assortment Lego boxes before Christmas.
Okay.
My wife is selling them all off. So
good deals too, from what I saw.
Oh,
yeah, like amazing deals. Yeah.
But it was funny because like last night, you know, she's like, hey, come sit down and put together some Lego boxes with me. And I'm like, all right, I'll be the minifigs guy. So I got like a whole row of legs, bodies, you know, weapons, you know. And it was really fun because like, I'm like, all right, I might have to get a little stoned for this first.
Yeah.
And I like had a hard time stopping putting these things down. But it was fun putting together. I'm like, all right, here's disco guy with like police pants on, with like, you know, with like a samurai helmet and an Uzi.
And then you can pit them against each other like Darth Helmet and Spaceballs. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, minifigs you'll never find at Target or Walmart.
Yeah, no, they don't sell the cop disco dancing Uzi character there.
No,
it's a very difficult piece to find actually.
Yep. So that's been fun.
Super exclusive.
Yeah, if you want to support the Kinney farm, buy our Lego tubs.
Yep. And maybe this will be out before Christmas, maybe not. But even if not, might have a few left over.
We're also sponsored by Lego.
Yep. Nope. Lego, Costco,
all the O's.
Yeah, all the
Lego tires.
Yes. Yes. Cheerios, SpaghettiOs.
Don't you know?
Yeah, don't you knows.
Yeah.
Onos.
Yeah. Cool. Well, how about squirrels?
How about squirrels?
I don't like squirrels.
You know, you don't. I feel like we worked on it a little bit, but I do understand why not, because you were terrorized as a child by flying squirrels in your old house.
Yep, we had a cabin outside of Hayward, Wisconsin, in Stone Lake, Wisconsin, and these flying squirrels would fly from this like big oak tree into this little opening in our attic. And I'd be like, Dad, why don't you just close the attic off and they can't get in? He's like, but then they're trapped in.
Yeah.
He's like, what we need to do is get out some air rifles and sit in a couple lawn chairs here, and we got to shoot them out of the sky when they're in midair.
Oh, so he wasn't worried. He wasn't worried about them getting stuck in there and suffocating or starvating. He just didn't want the smell, basically. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, oh no, you wouldn't want to trap the poor squirrels in your attic. He's like, no, I just don't want them to stink up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think I got one. They were hard to shoot out of midair, but they would glide, and those things were creepy, dude.
Yeah. Well, you told me the story where your dad was working on like the kitchen, I think, or whatever. And so it was a spot on the ceiling that was open, but it just had like saran wrap or something over it.
Yeah.
Insulation.
Yeah. It was like, whatever that clear plastic is.
Yes.
And there was one trying to get through the ceiling. And like, I think I screamed, or one of us was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because it's mashing its head in like this crazy way against the plastic.
My brother comes in, is like, goom, 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 boom, and just shoots it like a couple times in the stomach. And now there's this dead flying squirrel dripping blood.
Yeah, that'll disturb you as a kid. Yeah. So yeah, BJ was not happy that I befriended every single squirrel at the Banjo shop at the old location, and had them climbing up my legs like I was a tree or whatever. Like they were my buddies. I named them all Miss Myrtle, Big Nuts McGee. We had Fudgekins and Pudgekins were the two babies that were born in the tree right outside the tiny home.
Yeah, when you start naming them, then it's,
Yep.
Then they have a personality.
Yeah, they actually all did have very different personalities. Once you get to know them, they're very different animals, and they're a little demanding. Like they tried to break into the tiny house a couple times to steal some walnuts from us and stuff. But
Yeah.
well, and like Fudgekins and Pudgekins, the babies, we had been feeding the mom like all these really nice organic walnuts basically the whole time she was pregnant. And so these two kids came out and they were like, blam! You know, they were like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of squirrels. And I think they chased off most of the other squirrels that were living around there because they were just, you know, they were so afraid they were strong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. They just like crawly critters that scramble around really fast, mice, squirrels, stuff like that. Just, I can't handle it.
Yeah. Well, their talons are really freaking sharp too. And once you think about it, it's like, of course they are, because they got to be climbing up trees and stuff. But the first time that one of them climbs up your leg while you're wearing shorts, it's like, oh shit, like, dude just stabbed me 37 times. And
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. I could imagine like a 200-pound squirrel. That'd be my nightmare. Yeah. Taking over the town.
Would you rather fight a 200-pound squirrel or like a 200-pound possum?
Probably the possum.
Probably the possum for me too, because they can be really mean, but they're not as quick. Like I feel like 200-pound squirrel could probably jump like 40, 50, 60 feet up in the air and just land on you and you'd be done. At least the possums are kind of like, I mean, you know, they got bigger teeth, but they could wrap you around with their tail though. You'd have different problems with different aspects.
I'd rather not fight any of them. Funny squirrel story. So I was hanging out up at my local brewery here, Rally King. Shout out to Rally King. I was up there with my cousin Danny Maroney from London. You know Danny. And he loves squirrels the way you love squirrels.
Yes, we both love squirrels and we both love Deep Space Nine.
Yep. Dorks.
Thanks.
And so I'm sitting over here at one end of the bar. Danny's about 4 seats down. And I'm talking to this dude, Doug, or I forget what his name was. But he was telling me all about squirrel hunting.
Okay.
And like how to cook them up, put them in a crock pot.
Danny's not going to put up with that.
No, but Danny didn't catch that part of it. He just heard the guy go, "Man, I love me some squirrel." And Danny goes, "Oh, I love squirrels too." He's like, you like squirrels?" And the guy starts talking, and then they get into a squirrel conversation.
And I didn't realize the total different sides of the spectrum they're on.
Yep. And then like as the conversation progresses, I see the look on Danny's face change.
Yeah, you're just sitting here like, "Mwahaha."
and I'm like, "Danny, you should have known when you said squirrels and he said squirrel."
True.
Yep, you eat squirrel and you
befriend squirrels.
Exactly.
This is so true. Yes, these are the, the minor inconsistencies in the English language that really let you know the meaning of what someone's saying.
Yep. Exactly. All right. So what's next for you with music stuff? Are you going to keep doing what you're doing? Are you and By the Painter going to keep?
Yes. So By the Painter, as we said, the band Tallgrass is now By the Painter. Same ingredients, same great taste, just a different name. And we're sitting on an album that's done, and we're really proud of it. It's been done for years. It was done pre-COVID, and we just haven't released it yet. And we're also recording another one right now.
Okay.
And we're not in like a huge rush on it or anything. But yeah, we should have a couple albums coming out. I'm still interested in playing as many solo gigs as I can.
Yep.
It's like everyone in the music business, like, oh, I got used and abused by this manager. It's like, oh, they're just treating me horrible and blah, blah. Anybody out there that wants to use and abuse me as a solo artist, any manager out there that wants to take 15% or 20%, whatever, of my earnings, get a hold of me. I'm ready to be used and abused, sit on the road. I will live in my minivan for weeks at a time, going out and playing dingy holes that I'm sure that I will enjoy. So
awesome.
That's my spiel. If there's I'm very bad at booking gigs, and I've never been good at it. I don't like
pain.
It does, and I don't like self-promotion. I don't, I like putting stuff out that I've made, because it means something to me and I care about it. But as far as saying saying nice things about myself, maybe some of that English, Irish, Scottishness,
self-deprecation.
Yeah, the self-deprecation and the humility that comes from that. But yeah.
Well, I love your music.
Well, thanks.
I've been in love with it since I met you back in 2011, and you got a song for us, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's wrap this up. Do a song.
All right.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's this is great, and I hope we do many more of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, get that fire. Well, this is a song called Living and Giving. It's one of my older tunes. I probably wrote this one 20 years ago, maybe at this point. My dad was going through pretty significant health issues. He got diagnosed with synovial sarcoma, which is a pretty intense form of cancer. And they gave him 6 months to live, and he ended up fighting for about 2 years. And it was it's something that was awful, and but also, you know, brought our family really close together for those last couple of years of his life. And you know, you don't know love until you think it might be gone. And it ended up getting him. But I wrote this song not too long after he passed away, and it's basically about just getting in your car and driving when you're hurting and you ain't really got anything else that's gonna help you get over it. And it's definitely, the song is a lie, because one of the taglines is, "I don't let nothing bother me at all," and that's certainly not true. But here it is, Living and Giving.
Well, if I get into my car and then I drive a little farther, would it bother me at all? Well, if I get into my car and then I just drive a little farther, would it bother me? Oh no, now it would not bother me at all. The only thing then is when when to turn around. And no more, and no more, no more. 'Cause I've been taking troubles and giving some remorse. But no more, no more, no more. I was hiding and making Georgia, just living and giving, yeah. Winning 'cause I'm sinning, yeah. Now I don't let nothing bother me at all. Well, if I'm walking towards the bar, I walk on just a little farther, would it bother me at all? Well, if I get into my car and then I walk on just a little farther, would it bother me? Oh no, now it would not bother me at all. The only thing then is when to turn around. And no more, and no more, no more. 'Cause I've been taking all them troubles and giving some remorse. But no more, no more, no more. I was hiding and making Georgia, just living and giving, yeah. Winning 'cause I'm sinning, yeah. I don't let nothing bother me. I don't let nothing bother me. Well, I don't let nothing bother me